Hello everyone, and welcome back to another lesson in melody. Today we are going to deal with three shuns. They are the suspension, the retardation, and the anticipation. Now, these are all kind of similar, but the suspension and retardation are pretty much exactly the same. So we'll start with that. So you play a chord, above it you have your melody note, you switch to a different chord, your melody note is either held or repeated, but it is no longer a chord tone. Then you resolve it and to a chord tone, and that's either a suspension or retardation. The difference being suspensions go downwards because it's like it's hanging and it comes down. Retardations move upwards. I don't know why. And there were definitely some schools of thought that'll be like, you can't call a retardation an upward suspension, but if you see people refer to it as an upward suspension, or you refer to it as an upward suspension, people will understand what you mean, and it'll be fine. Now, a kind of verbal example of this is if we're playing a G7 chord, and our melody note is an F, which is a chord tone of G7. That G7 chord then moves to a C chord. Now that F melody note is, once again, either held or repeated, doesn't matter. Then what we're hearing is a non-chord tone in the melody. And then we either resolve it downwards to E or upwards to G, both of which are chord tones for C, C major, that is. And then we're all good. I will say that one of the things about suspensions I like is I think the more dissonant the suspension, the better. So you might you can refer to the suspension by numbers. So going from, if you have a C playing underneath it, your bass note C, F is a fourth above C, so that would be a 4-3 suspension if you then resolve it downwards to E, or it would be a 4-5 retardation. 2-1 suspensions can be really nice sounding because they're so dissonant, and going from that much dissonance to something consonant is really nice. It's also really nice when you only have to resolve it down by a half step, so going from F to E is really pleasant. Going the other way, E to F, or also B to C or C to B, that's really nice. But they're useful, and you don't need to go down half steps. Those are just my favorites, if you will. Suspensions, Greatest Hits, Volume 4. 4-3. But anyway, the anticipation is a similar idea, but opposite. In an anticipation, what you do is you play a non-chord tone in your melody, and then the chord changes, and it's either that melody note is either repeated or held down, but now it's consonant, now it's a chord tone. So sticking with the same example, if we have a G7 chord and you have a C in your melody, then you switch to a C chord, then you've just made that C on top a chord tone. It doesn't matter if it's held down or repeated. That is the anticipation, because it's anticipating being a chord tone of that. It's just, it's... No one really likes him because there's a guy who reads ahead in class. Is like, I'm already here, guys. And they're like, yeah, well, we're on page 4 and you ruined popcorn reading because you don't know where we are. But that's part of what makes them so nice, is you can have something really dissonant and then it resolves around it. It's like, oh, that's pleasant. That's nice. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about those things, the shuns. They're pretty great. I hope you have fun with them. Hope they help your melodies and your music writing. Alright, have a great week. Bye-bye.